And then if Mr. Ryan would accompany the witness, this will be Mr. Juan Marquez being called by Mr. Brooks. Yeah, Jen, can we I'm going to need that chair up there. Sorry about that. We can get another chair. And Mr. Brooks is calling Juan Marquez. Is that true, sir? Mr. Brooks, are you calling Mr. Marquez as a witness at this time?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Marquez, if you would accompany the interpreter all the way to the witness stand. Where's my instruction? When you get there, we're going to have the interpreter sworn first.
Do you swear that you will interpret truly, accurately, completely, and impartially in accordance with the standards prescribed by law, the Code of Ethics for Court Interpreters, and Wisconsin Guidelines for Court Interpreting?
I do. Certified Spanish interpreter Patrick Ryan.
Thank you. And Mr. Marquez, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn by my clerk?
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Sí.
Yes.
Please have a seat. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I have an instruction to read to you. No matter what language people speak, they have the right to have their testimony heard and understood. You are about to hear a witness in which an interpreter will translate for one of the witnesses. The interpreter is required to remain neutral. The interpreter is required to translate between English and Spanish accurately and impartially to the best of the interpreter's skill and judgment. The evidence you are to consider is only that provided through the official court interpreter. Although some of you may know the non-English language used, it is important that all jurors consider the same evidence. Therefore, you must base your decision on the evidence presented in the English translation. You must disregard any different meaning of the non-English words. You must evaluate interpreted testimony as you would any other testimony. That is, you must not give interpreted testimony any greater or lesser weight than you would if the witness had spoken English. Keep in mind that a person might speak some English without speaking it fluently. That person has the right to the services of an interpreter. Therefore, you shall not give greater or lesser weight to a person's translated testimony based on your conclusions, if any, regarding the extent to which that person speaks English. With that, sir, the first thing I will ask you to do is to state and spell your first and last names for the record.
Juan Marquez.
Juan Marquez.
Juan.
Juan.
Marquez.
Marquez.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir, you may question this witness.
Good morning, Mr. Marquez.
Buenos días, señor Marquez.
You were at the parade on November 21st, 2021. Is that correct?
Usted estaba en el desfile del 21 de noviembre de 2022, ¿correcto?
Es correcto.
That is correct.
And do you recall who you were there with that day?
¿Se acuerdan con quién estaba ese día?
Con mi esposa y mi hijo.
With my wife and with my son.
And were you marching in the parade that day?
¿Usted estaba caminando en el desfile ese día?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you remember who you were marching with? Was it a
caminando?
particular group?
Un grupo en particular?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, this is
Do you recall who that group was?
¿Se acuerda quién era el grupo con el cual estaba desfilando?
Sí.
Yes.
And at some point, you felt something hit your leg?
Y en un momento usted sintió que algo le pegó su pierna.
Es correcto.
That's correct.
And do you remember what that was?
¿Se acuerda qué fue?
Un vehículo.
A vehicle.
And did you see the vehicle?
¿Vio el vehículo? ¿Lo vio?
No.
No.
At some point, did you go to Freighter Hospital?
¿En algún momento usted pasó al hospital Freighter?
Sí.
Yes.
And were you interviewed by any law enforcement at that time?
¿Usted fue entrevistado por algún agente policial, policía?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you recall if it was regular officers or FBI?
¿Se acuerda si fue un oficial regular o fue la agente de FBI?
FBI.
FBI.
Do you recall telling them that the truck was black?
¿Se acuerda que usted
Grounds.
The objection is sustained as to leading. Please rephrase your question.
Do you remember what color you told them the truck was?
¿Se acuerda si usted se acuerda qué color dijo él, qué color la troca fue?
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
So it would be fair to say you don't recall seeing anything at that time?
¿Se puede decir que usted no se acuerda de nada en ese tiempo?
No.
No.
And did you at any time file a claim related to this incident?
¿En algún momento usted archivó un reclamo con respecto a este incidente?
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
Do you know if anyone you were with filed a claim related to this incident?
¿Sabe si alguien que la acompañó, si archivó un reclamo con respecto a este incidente?
No lo sé.
I don't know.
Would you consider yourself an injured party in this incident?
¿Usted se considera una parte herida, lesionada debido a este incidente?
Sí.
Yes.
Any reason why you wouldn't file a claim since you considered yourself an injured party?
Por eso que usted
Grounds.
se considera una persona no herida durante ese incidente. ¿Alguna razón por la cual no archivaría un reclamo?
There's an objection. It's sustained as to the form of the question. Please rephrase.
Por favor, diga la pregunta de nuevo.
¿Me puede repetir la pregunta?
There's an objection. You don't need to answer.
No tiene que contestar. Could you repeat the question, please?
Please rephrase, Mr.
Por favor,
Brooks.
diga la pregunta de diferente manera, señor Brooks.
It's kind of hard to rephrase.
Es un poco difícil decir la pregunta de diferente manera.
Did you intend on filing a claim related to this case?
¿Por su
Objection.
intención de archivar un reclamo con respecto a este caso?
Hold on, there's been an objection. The ground.
Sesión,
Your Honor, first of all,
primero.
this witness testified he doesn't recall filing a claim, so I'm not sure what the relevance then would be of the question.
The question was, did he intend on it?
Su intención de archivar.
I'll sustain the objection as to the form of the question. Please rephrase.
Do you recall at any time filing a police report?
¿Se acuerda en un momento usted de archivar un reporte de policía?
Sí.
Yes.
And was that with local law enforcement,
Eso
if you recall?
La agencia de policía local, ¿sí se acuerda?
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
Did any law enforcement from that report follow up with you at any time?
A una representante de una agencia policíaca hizo algún tipo de seguimiento con usted en ese tiempo.
Sí.
Yes.
And do you recall what agency that was?
¿Se acuerda qué agencia lo contrató?
No.
No.
Psychologists have
Do you recall at any time being notified that you could possibly testify in this incident?
¿Usted se acuerda que en un momento que la notificaron que en un momento usted podría testificar sobre ese incidente?
¿Me puede repetir la pregunta?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. Do you recall at any time being notified that it was a possibility that you could testify in this incident?
¿Se acuerda que en un momento podría, si lo notificaron, que habría sido una posibilidad que usted podría testificar con respecto a ese incidente?
No.
No.
Were you ever subpoenaed in relation to this incident?
¿Lo citaron alguna vez a corte con respecto a ese incidente?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you recall who you received this subpoena from?
¿Se acuerda de quién recibió el citatorio de corte?
Del distrito de la oficina del fiscal.
From the office of the district attorney.
And do you recall when that was?
¿Se acuerda cuándo fue?
Un mes y días.
A month and a few days.
And following being subpoenaed, or following, rather, to strike that back, after receiving the subpoena, did you follow up with the district attorney's office at any time after?
Después de recibir entonces el citatorio, ¿recibió algún tipo de seguimiento por medio de la oficina fiscal después del incidente?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you recall whom you spoke with?
¿Se acuerda con quién habló?
Susan.
Susan.
Would that be referring to Attorney Opper, who was seated at this table?
¿Se refiere a Susan Opper que está sentado a esa mesa?
Sí.
Yes.
And were you at any time informed of a plaintiff in this incident?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Informa a la oposición.
You don't need to answer that
No
question.
tiene que contestar la pregunta.
Were you at any time notified that there was a plaintiff in this incident?
Objection,
Grounds.
relevance.
The objection is sustained. The witness does not need to answer.
Do you even know if there's a plaintiff in this incident?
Objection,
Grounds.
relevance.
The objection is sustained. The witness does not need to answer.
No tiene que contestar la pregunta.
Do you recall ever seeing, excuse me, do you ever recall, sorry. Do you recall ever seeing or reading a complaint in this matter?
Entonces, ¿cuál es usted vio, si leyó la acusación criminal en este asunto?
No.
No.
Going back to the actual incident, would it be fair to say that at the time you were very confused?
Volviendo entonces al incidente, ¿se puede decir que en ese tiempo usted estaba bastante confundido?
¿Me puede repetir la pregunta?
Could you repeat the question?
Going back to the time of the incident at the parade, would it be fair to say that you were confused at the time?
Volviendo entonces al momento del desfile, ¿se puede decir que usted estaba confundido en ese tiempo?
No.
No.
Any reason why you don't recall seeing anything?
¿Hay alguna razón por la cual que usted no se acuerda de ver algo?
¿Me puede repetir la pregunta?
Could you repeat the question?
Any reason why you don't recall seeing anything?
¿Alguna razón por la cual que usted no se acuerda de ver nada en ese tiempo?
No vi el vehículo.
I did not see the vehicle.
Solo pasó.
It just passed by. So the interpreter needs to make a clarification on his last response, if I can inquire.
Cuando usted dice que pasó el vehículo, ¿quiere decir que ocurrió el incidente o que el vehículo pasó por usted? Cuando usted dice pasó el vehículo o que pasó como ocurrió?
Ocurrió, me pegó y pasó
Yeah,
rápido.
for clarification, the interpreter inquired if he meant the vehicle passed by or if the incident happened. The defendant, interpreter, for clarification, the interpreter would like to say that he meant that it just happened, that the vehicle just hit him, rather than, I believe the interpreter translated what he said as it passed by. What he meant to say is that it actually happened, rather than passed by. So, for that point of clarification, for the record.
Thank you.
Also, for clarification, just so we're clear for the record, you don't recall actually seeing the vehicle.
También, si vamos a estar clarificando por el acta, no se acuerda que vio el vehículo.
No.
No.
No further questions.
No da preguntas.
Any questions, Attorney Basie?
Briefly.
Brevemente.
Good morning, Mr. Marquez.
Buenos días, señor.
Yes.
Good morning.
On November 21st of last year, were you walking with the Catholic communities of Waukesha?
El 21 de noviembre del año pasado, desfilando con Catholic Communities of Waukesha.
Es correcto.
That's correct.
Hold on. What was the
¿Qué
objection?
fue la acusación?
I mean, you already.
You have to speak up. I couldn't hear what you
I
said.
have a code, so I
Tengo el
can't.
frío.
Mr. Brooks, was there an objection so I can move on?
Yes, there was
On
an
what
objection.
grounds?
En que
I can't even remember now.
ni me acuerdo ahora.
Well, if you were objecting on relevance, it's relevant. His answer may stand.
It wasn't relevant, so I'll tell you that.
Mr. Marquez,
Sí, Marquez.
if you hear the word objection,
Objection, me opongo.
please
Por
wait
favor, espere.
until I rule
hasta
on the
que yo haga
objection
Mi decisión o posición
before you answer.
antes que conteste.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Go ahead.
Adelante.
So we did answer the question?
¿Sí contestó la pregunta?
Sí.
Yes.
Thank you.
Muy bien, gracias.
You were with your wife and your son?
¿Estaba con su esposa y su hijo?
Sí.
Yes.
And your son's name is David Marquez?
Objection
¿El
leading.
nombre de su hijo es David Márquez?
Overruled. You called the witness. The state may lead. Go ahead and answer.
Contesta la pregunta, por favor. Si puede contestar.
What's that mean?
Go ahead and answer, sir.
Conteste, por favor.
Sí.
Yes.
You testified that at some point you were struck by a vehicle.
Objection.
Usted testificó en un momento que usted testificó que
Overruled.
fue pegado por un vehículo.
You may answer.
Puede contestar la pregunta.
Sí.
Yes.
Did you have any warning before you were struck by the car?
Objection.
Tipo de advertencia,
Hearsay.
de aviso antes que fue chocado por el carro. Me pongo de evidencia por referencia.
Overruled.
Anulada. La
The witness
acusación.
may answer.
Puede contestar la pregunta.
No.
No.
Did you hear a horn honking?
¿Escuchó
Objection.
una bocina, un claxon?
Hearsay.
¿Está sonando el vehículo? ¿Un claxon?
Overruled. The witness may answer.
Puede contestar la pregunta.
No.
No.
Sir, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 161.
161.
Go ahead.
Adelante.
Can you see that picture on the screen in front of you?
¿Pantalla frente a usted? ¿Lo ve la imagen?
Sí.
Yes.
And do you see the approximate area where you landed after the vehicle struck you?
Usted fue al área aproximado.
Objection leading.
Después de que el vehículo
Overruled. The state may lead. It's not their witness.
No soy testigo.
Go ahead and answer, sir.
Adelante y conteste, por favor.
So I can lead too if it's not my witness?
No.
No.
Well, hold on. We'll get to that later. There's been an objection. I'm overruling it.
Anulada la acusación.
Go ahead and ask your question.
Haga su
So the
pregunta.
state can do what they want.
Do
Got
you
it.
see the area in which you landed after the vehicle struck you?
Después que el vehículo lo chocó.
Sí.
Yes.
I'd ask that this exhibit be admitted to evidence, which is 161, and published to the jury.
Objection.
Obrigado. Entonces, 161.
We can't even see what exactly is the state referring to.
¿Qué se refiere al Estado?
You can't even see who it is.
No veo quién es.
Just state your objection.
Su
It's
oposición.
overruled
Anulada.
Of course, it's going to be overruled.
because it's attempt to testify. But if the state could just ask a few more foundational questions, please.
Certainly. When you met with the state, did you review some video of the parade?
Objection.
Me
Hearsay.
pongo evidencia por referencia.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
No puede contestar.
Sí.
Yes.
And after reviewing that video, were you able to determine the area in which your body landed after you were struck by the car?
Objection. Hearsay and leading.
Overruled as to both. You may answer, sir.
Después de que entonces se recibió entonces del choque del carro, determinó el área. ¿Te acuerdas dónde su cuerpo quedó después de que el vehículo chocó?
Sí.
Yes.
And do you see that area on this exhibit?
Objection leading.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
Sí.
Yes.
I'd ask that this
Every objection.
exhibit be admitted to evidence and published for the jury.
Objection. What's the relevancy?
The objections are noted. They are overruled. And Exhibit 161 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
And it's indicated that that is now being seen in the jury box. Sir, the screen in front of you is a touch screen. Can you circle the area in which you believe you landed?
Objection leading.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
How do you say where they believe?
¿Dónde cree que se quedó?
Either you know or you don't.
The witness may answer.
Sí.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
Can you do that now?
¿Puede ser eso? Entonces marcar el lugar donde se cayó.
That's where it gets fixed the whole thing.
If we can take a snapshot of that.
I don't know what Mr. Brooks just mumbled, but it's not his turn to ask questions. There was no objection. The jury will disregard that.
And this would be Exhibit 161A.
Object.
And we'll screen capture that. Exhibit 161A has been captured. Are you moving that in?
I am.
And Exhibit 161 is received. 61A. Sorry.
Thank you. And do you see anyone that you recognize standing in that area?
Objection leading.
Overruled. The state may lead its cross-examination of your witness,
So I
sir.
can lead on cross-examination then?
I direct your attention to 90611 sub
And I
3,
lead on
sir.
cross-examination.
I'm not going to answer that. Go ahead,
So
sir. You may
it's your
answer.
determination that you don't have to answer that? If I don't understand something?
The jury will disregard the comments being made by Mr. Brooks.
Judicial determination, okay.
Go ahead and answer the question if you recall it, sir.
¿Me puede repetir la pregunta?
Could you repeat the question?
Yes. Do you see David, your son, in that picture?
Objection.
Su hijo en esa foto.
That was,
Sí.
Yes.
And is he wearing?
so my objection is not going to be noted.
The objection is overruled. The state chose to ask a different question. That's fine.
And is he seated near some blue chairs wearing a blue jacket?
Objection leading.
Si es azul,
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
Sí.
Yes.
And sir, is that you laying down and you can see in this picture your legs and they're hanging into the roadway?
Objection leading.
Witness may answer. Overruled.
extendidas en el camino. ¿Lo ve?
Sí.
Yes.
Now, is that where you were walking when you were struck from behind? In
Objection
that
leading.
position?
Chocado desde atrás en su posición. Me pongo evidencia por evidencia.
Overruled. You may answer.
No puede contestar la pregunta.
No.
No.
How far from the position that you recalled yourself to be at when you were walking did you land?
Objection leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
Me pongo evidencia por evidencia. Anulada. Puede contestar la pregunta.
Entre 15 a 20 pies.
Between 15 and 20 feet.
So your body flew through the air between 15 and 20 feet. Is that what your
Objection,
testimony
leading.
is?
Por el aire y entre 15 y 10 distancia.
Sí.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't rule on the objection, but it is overruled and his answer may stand.
Was David also struck by a vehicle during the parade?
Sí.
Yes.
Did he received injuries as well?
Fue lesionado.
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
Se puede contestar.
Sí.
Yes.
Can you describe what your injuries were, sir?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
Sí, anulada, puede contestar.
Sí.
Yes.
What were they?
¿Qué fueron sus heridas?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Pongo pregunta encima, anulada.
La fíbula
My fibula
y ligamentos.
and ligaments.
Your fibia was broken?
Objection, leading. Speculative.
Overruled as to both.
That's
The
not
witness
what
may
he said.
answer.
Sí.
Yes.
And you had torn ligaments?
Tiene entonces.
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Puede contestar.
You say that in the question before?
Sí.
Yes.
And were those both in the same leg?
Eso sería
Objection,
lo mismo.
leading.
Pongo pregunta encima.
Sí.
Sorry.
Yes.
Overruled.
Anulada la pregunta.
If we
Yeah, of course.
just wait when there's an
Cuando hay una
objection.
posición,
I'm overruling it. It's relevant. It's not leading. The witness's answers may stand.
I mean, yeah, you overrule every objection.
And the jury will disregard the additional commentary made by Mr. Brooks at this time.
Judicial misconduct at its finest.
And which leg was that, sir?
Objection, asked and answered.
Overruled.
anulada.
You may answer.
Puede contestar la pregunta.
El pie izquierdo.
My left leg.
Did you have to have surgery on that leg?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Posición, pregunta encima, anulada.
Sí.
Let's
Yes.
see what y'all
Just
trying
one?
Nada más una cirugía.
to get here.
Dos.
2. That's not gonna work either.
Mr. Brooks, you are advised to stop with the commentary.
No, I'm gonna say what I want
You
to say.
called this witness. I'm going to take a break right now and excuse the jury and this witness. All right.
What you doing is judicial misconduct. Judicial misconduct. But you don't want the jury to hear the truth. That's not fair to the jury. They have a right to hear everything. I'm not finna sit here and let you fix the trial because you don't want to tell the truth to the jury.
Mr. Brooks, please stop.
No, there ain't no please.
You are
nothing.
being disruptive.
Ain't
You
no
are being
please, nigga.
disrespectful.
You always
The
gonna
witness
find
may
some
step
reason to
down.
say somebody's being disruptive because they want the truth to be out there. Man, quit it. You're supposed to be the
Mr.
judge.
Brooks, I'm advising you that continued interruptions will result in you forfeiting your right to be
Okay,
present
and
in this
under
courtroom
what law and
during
fact can you do that?
Illinois versus Allen.
Okay,
sir.
but the fourth option that you made up, that's not even in the law,
Mr.
because
Brooks,
you can't do that.
I need to make a
By law, you
ruling.
can't do that.
I need to
And
make
you
a
know you
finding.
can't.
All right, I'm going to excuse everyone. Mr. Brooks is being removed from the courtroom. He will continue in the neighboring courtroom. Please make sure he has his objection signed and a pad of paper.
So is that
he can.
So is that holding me in
meaningfully
contempt?
participate, and I will make a ruling when I.
so? Are
after
you
we
holding
come
me in
back up.
contempt? Is that civil or criminal?